Very interesting guest today, CEO of one of the most famous non-league clubs in the world, Joe Bryon. How do you become a CEO of a football team? Is there did they put the job on Indeed and you applied?
A group of 19-year-olds bought the football club, they saved it. I think what we're guilty of is we have this massive following on socials now. The million on TikTok, I think it's often perceived that we're a much bigger operation than we actually are. Yeah. People think we're absolutely rolling in it. The thing that unlocked it for me was Ted Lasso. The deal, believe it or not, didn't include any revenue from our bar or hospitality.
There is so many good players that they just can't all fit in the top leagues. No. I just want to talk about the sort of relationship between like a CEO and the owners.
Yes.
What does a CEO of a football team do? This episode is brought to you by Huel. Let me tell you, mate, just had a baby. Yeah. Back to work. Eating is really tough.
It takes time, doesn't it?
It takes a lot of time. Trying to meal prep, it's just not the one. So these bottles, chuck in the bag, say goodbye to the baby, get out the house and drink this on the way. It's an absolute dream.
And they don't just do bottles. They also do the Huel Black Edition powder, which we've got right here.
Unreal.
Yeah.
It's a complete meal, isn't it?
Yeah.
So no more feeling hungry. Have this and you're ready to go for the day. It's less than $3 per meal. It's packed with 40 grams of plant-based protein and it's got 27 essential vitamins and minerals.
It's also gluten-free, no added sugars.
Wow.
And tastes great with flavours like this, chocolate. Together, Huel makes healthy eating simple. Try both today with 15% off your first purchase for new customers with my exclusive code BALLTALK. That's BALLTALK. Visit huel.com/BALLTALK.
Use our code and fill out the post-checkout survey to help support the show. What's going on, people? Welcome back to Ball Talk. My name is Noah Jones. As always, I'm here with Lewis Bryon. I didn't drop the Crystal Palace legend intro. I've dropped it for you. This is one of our insight episodes where we find out everything about the footballing world. Very interesting guest today, CEO of one of the most famous non-league clubs in the world, Joe Bryon.
Good evening.
All right, mate.
Thanks for coming on.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. This is not something we've kind of touched on before, have we?
No,
we talk about footballers and footballing life, but CEO of a football club. Very exciting.
Yeah, it's a pretty big title, isn't it? I guess
It is.
It comes with a lot of weight, a lot of heaviness. Yeah.
Absolutely.
No, thanks for having me on.
Pleasure. First of all, what does a CEO of a football team do?
Yeah, you've gone straight in. I mean, it's very hard to answer. This is one that I was obviously mulling over when you kindly sent me these questions through. I don't think there is an answer. I do a lot of different things. Every day is different. I'm obviously still quite new to the role. It's only a couple of months in to this specific role. It's just a combination of a lot of things, I guess, and it's quite a buzzword, but I do try to set a tone and a culture, a way of doing things, an identity, just having good energy around you, trying to achieve everything you want to achieve from a business point of view. I talk a lot in my meetings around sort of turning the dial by 1 or 2% on a number of different things.
Nice.
Then collectively that kind of grows the vehicle, grows the football club, and ultimately it's a business.
Yeah.
So it's great having 11 lads or 11 girls running around on wearing our kit, trying to win games and 3 points. But ultimately, it's a business, and we need to grow, and we need to build out revenue and everything like that. But yeah, there's so much to it. I don't do everything. I'm very lucky that I share a lot of my time with the owners and the co-owners who are still heavily involved. But yeah, driving the business forward is essentially my remit across a number of different verticals.
Amazing. I think we'll touch on the team itself later. Walton Hersham, what a club. If you haven't seen them on social media, please do, because what you guys are doing there is unbelievable. But to talk about you first, personally, how do you become a CEO of a football team? Is there did they put the job on Indeed and you applied?
Indeed.
Do you still use Indeed? Wow.
Yeah, that's it. No?
Sorry, LinkedIn. Sorry, yeah.
Showing your age there. No, it wasn't on Indeed. I generally don't know the answer. It wasn't part of my bingo card for 2025. That's for sure. There's a lot of things have had to have happened in my personal life to sort of end up A, in this part of the world, and B, in my career to be to have the opportunity to even be in that conversation. So yeah, it's a really tricky one to answer. There's a lot to it. In a previous life, for 12 years, I built a magazine and a media agency. called Tomorrow, and there was a football element to that, which was a side note called Penalty. Built that from the ground up, from absolutely nothing to what is still going today, a global entity. Worked with, I'm going to have to name drop now.
Come on.
The Weeknd, Billie Eilish.
Wow.
Did shoots with a couple of the Jenner sisters, which was super cool. Obviously, it's a completely different world. And,
yeah.
It was tough. It was a hard graft. And, yeah, like I said, 12 years dedicated to building that. Over the years, obviously, I accumulated a team who were fantastic, and I accumulated contacts and knowledge of running a business. I always say there's the highs were super high, the lows were like through the floor, and ultimately it got to a point where I'd sort of got my head turned by football again. Football, like all of us growing up, is just a huge part of most people's life in Britain, part of the culture, you know. And I grew up down in a tiny little village down on the south coast, so Bournemouth is my team. Used to go home and away with the old man, the classic story. But I suppressed all of that to run the business. Yeah, I had to. It was a distraction almost. Didn't even go to many games. Stopped playing even five-a-side kickabout just to fully focus on building the brand. And I'll tell you a funny story. I don't tell many people this. The thing that unlocked it for me was Ted Lasso.
No way.
Genuinely, I watched that and I was like, it all sort of came flooding back. Like the goosebumps, the storyline, his emotional connection with the sport and with people. And yeah, it was just at a time in my life where I was maybe just slightly falling out of love with the business, with fashion and media and music. And then all of a sudden, this American guy with the tash sort of flicks the switch. It was crazy. It genuinely...
That's class.
Yeah, people probably won't own up to that, but I don't care. Like, it genuinely just opened everything. All the stories, the emotion, the memories that we all have as children with football just all came flooding back.
Unreal.
And so I was like, right, I need to get into that industry. What can I do? How can I do it? I obviously had a nice, decent enough CV behind me, a good chunk of experience in terms of leadership. I made some mistakes. We all had. Things had paid off, things hadn't. But I'd built something from scratch. I dropped out of uni to do it. I wasn't from London, so I had no kind of, no click, if you like.
Yeah.
And it was all kind of built just through hard graft. Initially to get a job in London. That was the only reason I started. And then it just snowballed and got bigger and bigger and bigger. So I used all of that networking kind of ability that I'd had to do, all the banging on doors of record labels and PR agencies, and just essentially took that and copied and pasted it within football. And initially I thought it was going to be media, so that's why I started what was called Penalty, with an agency and a platform within football. And didn't scratch the itch. Then I thought I was going to be Eddie Howe. As a Bournemouth fan, he's an absolute living legend and a hero for what he's done to that club. And I genuinely went for a coffee. He's now the under-18s assistant coach, a guy called Elliot Head, and I'll name drop him because he's an absolute legend. Went for a coffee with him, who was the foundation lead phase at the time down at Bournemouth. Introduced to a few other people, and the next thing I was invited in to coach within the pre-academy down at Bournemouth. Mad. And at the time, genuinely, and people will probably hate me for this, I had no coaching qualifications, nothing. I didn't even do level 1 tick pocket exercise, nothing.
That's mad as well, because I know how hard it is firsthand for people to get and become an academy coach.
You did it.
They're queuing up. Yeah, well, I had an in because I was a player.
Yeah.
So I could do it for a bit, but I know the demand.
It was nuts.
Yeah.
It was mad. I felt a little bit of, who's this guy? Just rocked up. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Obviously, I'd been in and around football. I'd played it a bit. I'd understood it. It wasn't alien to me. But yeah, I had nothing. I just had this bulk of work, this bank of work, where I was like, do you want to give me a shot? And, I'd be forever grateful for that. And they got me in. I mean, it was all a bit sudden. I thought I was going to be picking up cones and putting out water bottles, but I went in for an induction and my name was on the board, under 7s assistant coach for 23, 24.
That's
and I was
mad.
like, what?
That's crazy.
And that's and for my club as well, as you can imagine, you're an Arsenal fan.
Yeah.
If you were coaching at Arsenal, it's nuts. It's pretty cool. So yeah, that was the in again. So I thought I was going to go down the coaching route, accumulate experience, get my badges, build myself up, and be a coach. And like I said, Eddie Howe was a bit of an inspiration.
Yeah.
He was a youth team coach as well. Obviously, as a player, and a bit more advanced in that sense. But the storyline, I could feel that was something I could go and imitate.
Yeah.
And I was a sponge. I'd built a team to still run the magazine at that point, but it was slowly fading. And then I was just focusing on networking and consuming within football.
Is that still a route you think you
possibly
could take?
Yeah, I'm still young enough that it could, I could affect it. I'm 34 now, so it could affect. I could still get involved in that sense. They fast tracked me. Again, I'm very grateful. They fast tracked me. I did UEFA B.
Wow.
And I did Talent ID Level 2, which again, as you'll know, it's extremely difficult to get on.
Yeah.
And I did it within the space of 2 years. I mean, it was bonkers, really. Rubbing shoulders with ex-pros and some amazing coaches in what is an elite environment.
Yeah.
Then personal stuff happens, life's, and then I had to move, and I ended up in Surrey. I'd left the business. I'd obviously moved away from coaching, and I was starting again, essentially. And I wanted to get my football fix, so I wandered down to the ground's called the Hub to watch Walton and Hersham, and I was hooked on the storyline, on the non-league aspect, which I think I'd maybe missed by being at Bournemouth, or just supporting them.
Had Walton and Hersham already gone through so if people don't know, Walton and Hersham bought by 5 young lads?
Yeah, so this was a year ago. I wandered down in December, January time. So 7 years ago, the club was essentially going out of business, was saved. Pretty much, I'm told, sat around a situation like this in a pub. Group of 19-year-olds bought the football club. They saved it. I think I can say this. They put some of their student loan behind it.
Insane.
And bought a football club, as you do.
Wow.
It's mad.
They then got 3 promotions in a row, back to back to back.
Wow.
And not only that, they built a social media following, which is huge. Over 1 million on TikTok, 20 million likes on TikTok, which is still, has stood the test of time.
Yeah.
And they rebranded it. They did an amazing job, stabilised the club and on the pitch as well, made some great decisions. So I went down in December just to watch a game. And again, as is my nature, I wanted to get involved. So I set up a few coffees with one of the co-owners, probably the only one that's left. The other boys have all moved on to pastures new. We had a coffee and he was like, look, we need someone to do commercial. You seem like you know what you're on about. And I was freelancing at the time on various different projects and gigs. And I'm like, yeah, go on then, I'll do that. That sounds great. And that was in February, March time. Did that for 6 months. And then, like I said, a month or so ago, I'm part of the furniture now, and they've stepped up. They asked me if I wanted to lead on all fronts as opposed to just commercial.
Unreal.
So, I mean, that's a very long-winded way of answering your question. But, yeah, I don't know how I've ended up here.
Yeah.
But it, in a weird way, it kind of fuses everything that I've ever done. There's branding, there's marketing, there's commercial, there's leadership, and then obviously sprinkle the football bits that I've got as well. It's genuinely a dream role. So, long may it continue.
It's fascinating. And I think, so when you go and watch the match and you kind of get this is something I want to be involved in, was a lot of that, any of that, some of that to do with the story of the lads buying it? Or do you think even if that hadn't happened, you would have wanted to get involved in that club anyway?
I think geographically it was a good fit for me. I'd ended up there and I needed something to do. I wanted to get involved in football again. Possibly. I didn't know about the story. It was one of those that you'd seen. I'd seen
of course.
It, and then it was like, I'll just check this club out. Oh, of course. And all the news articles come up and the TikTok and stuff. So yeah, maybe had a bearing, but no, it was more. There was a clearly an opportunity to be involved in some shape or form. If I'm honest, it was very speculative. Yeah. There were other clubs that I was talking to in the area that may or may not have materialised with something. And these guys just had that opening and that opportunity. So it helps, obviously. It helps with the sell and talking about the club. It's just such a fairy tale, and it's great to be part of that.
It's unbelievable, isn't it? Because I think there's 2 ways to look at it, right? One, from a football perspective, you, Lewis, I know it's a bit different because Palace.
Yeah.
But if you were at a club and a bunch of 19-year-olds had bought it, would you have been a bit like, this is ridiculous?
It's hard. Yeah, you wouldn't think they'd, like you said, be able to take it out of where it was to, like you said, 3 promotions in a row.
Yeah.
And I suppose looking back in hindsight, the thing they would have is the social media element, understanding that market and how to tap into that, which is obviously paid massive dividends.
Huge.
I also find it crazy that I think it sounds like a 2-year period from when you were the under-7s assistant to then being the CEO.
Yeah. I mean, I don't often reflect on that, but it's pretty mad.
I think that's the story that's been told in football, is it?
Yeah, like that's you'd usually expect maybe under-11s coach after 2 years.
Yeah.
But you've skipped the queue.
Yeah, massively.
Yeah, I mean, also some other bits, which is crazy. And then amongst that, I was offered opportunities to be a head coach abroad in places.
Really?
Wow.
In there was a club in Sweden. I even went over, even accidentally on purpose, did an interview with the local press, which was crazy. Before I'd even said yes. Well, I think I maybe said maybe, and they interpreted it as yes. There was a possible opportunity in the UAE. It's just all about sliding doors moments, right?
It is. Yeah, it is. But do you think you're not giving yourself any credit? Were you a good coach? You must have had something.
Possibly, yeah. I must. I was quite. The detail and the technical side, obviously, Lewis, playing the game, I was nowhere near those levels, and that was the bit I needed to and still would probably work on. But what I feel I was quite good at was and I've built team after team after team in business. Is leadership, motivation, getting people on side, and the buy-in, which I think is important to any role. Even like you guys doing podcasts, you need people to buy into that. And once you get them on side, then it's actually about selling.
Yeah.
Selling an idea and selling a way of playing or a technique or something. So I think maybe that, if I do myself a disservice, I've obviously got a bit, but yes, I don't often reflect. I'm always just working on the next thing. But it is crazy. Yeah.
It seems like you've got to have a good ability to spot opportunity or almost like create an opportunity. Really, like you said, as soon as you watch the game, you set up a few coffees. Like that's probably
you've not waited for something to come along, have you?
Yeah.
No, I think again that stems from I grew up in a time. It's hard to explain. You have to come down and see it. It's chocolate box village. Quintessential Britain, like one pub, one shop, one school, and I grew up in an environment where you stayed there. Yeah. And fair play, a lot of people do that, and I respect that. We need different people in society, but that just was never me. So, and in order to almost force that, I needed to almost get out. So I had to chase opportunity, or even, like say, identify and create new lanes. Excuse me. Especially when starting a magazine in a world where it's digital based and this is a print product, where everyone sort of dismissed it almost instantly. You just it's that resilience, it's that go again, keep driving, and I then start to do that in my own career, I suppose.
I'm just curious, how I know you've not been long in the role, but what's your thought process on sort of balancing the fan side of watching the football, watching the club, loving the club, and the business side of it's got to stay afloat.
Is it hard not to make emotional?
Yeah, it is. Yeah. The more I'm there, the more I'm becoming a fan as well. So that's nice. It gets under your skin, right? And just football is football. It's mad how it does that. But the thing that's really struck me, and I think this answers your question, is when I was just doing the commercial stuff, I could switch. Yeah. I could be like, right, I've hit some targets. I'll go along to the game. What a great job. This is amazing. Get to watch football. Now I will turn up and I'm not happy if, excuse me, the match day experience isn't great or the attendance is off or, obviously what happens on the pitch. But I'm also looking at, demeanour of the coaching staff. I'm looking at, how our volunteers are interacting with each other. I'll walk from one end of the ground to the other and get stopped by 5 or 6 fans. And that's the magnitude of what happens now is like, some of these people have supported this club for 20, 30, 40 years.
So it's life, isn't it?
Literally. And I think that was something I underestimated.
A lot of people have more love for their local team than they do their Premier League team they support, for example. Yeah,
I think there's a lot more to it. They've been in around it a bit more, or they know someone that's played for the club. There's more chance of that happening. But, because of those interactions, because of what I have to look at as a business, it is a bit easier to switch the emotion off. outside of the 90 minutes. When it's the 90 minutes, then obviously, we scored a 95th winner or 94th minute winner on Saturday. It's hard not to fist pump. And, you got the opposing directors near you, and you're like, oh, bro, chill out. It's that's what we do it for. We're all ambitious and we want to win on the pitch. We need to win off it as well. But yeah, it's something I think I'm quite good at in general, compartmentalising and just. Right, this is for this is for this, put that box away, get this box out. I don't know where I learnt that. I've learnt that somewhere along the way.
Mm-hmm.
I'm very grateful to have that ability to do that. And emotion, people that know me will probably say I'm very emotionless. And
well, you have to be if you run your own business.
Yeah, and you make decisions and live or die by those decisions, whether they're good, bad, ugly. Like I said earlier, you make mistakes, you make good decisions, and you have to stay flatlined.
But I do think there's an element of... With a club like Walton Hersham being like I don't want to do it a disservice by saying a local team, but I'm sure the fans would want to see you celebrating a goal.
Yeah.
You want to care about the club rather than it just being a business.
Yeah, absolutely. It's just about balance, I think.
Yeah.
It's just about just a little bit of that is allowed, and then it's we've got FA Cup. I don't know when this will come out. We've got an FA Cup game on Saturday, third qualifying round. Only 2 wins away from the first round proper.
Class.
That's huge
to
a club of our level. I was watching one of your videos the other day looking at FA Cup clauses
for
players, and I was like, well, if we could have that as a club budget, that'd be insane. But that's the levels, that's the difference that we're playing, and it's purely focused on Saturday. We will probably breathe at 5-3, but then it's that adage cliche, like we will instantly look at the next fixture.
Yeah.
But emotions allowed. I think I allow it to creep in, but yeah, there needs to be, there's a job to be done.
Yeah, and you've only, like you say, you've only been there a few months.
In this role, yeah.
Yeah, in this role, sorry. Has there ever been a moment when you thought either I'm out of my depth or this is too much?
First day.
I was going to say, like, you've gone from fashion to football.
Yeah.
Like, you've not chosen the easiest
fashion,
industry.
Music in there as well, which is horrifically hard to break into. Don't make it easy. No, first day was unintentionally a meeting to sort of rejig one of our volunteers. And that's the other thing. This club wouldn't exist without it's literally an army of volunteers. And Calogero, the remaining owner, he is the lifeblood of this football club. I'm sat here today, but he has driven this for 6 years. There was an average gate 4 years ago. It was 43.
Wow.
Last year it's 750.
Amazing.
I've only just come in, but he has driven that growth and a few others, obviously.
Class.
But yeah, on the first day, I had to have a chat with one of our volunteers about sort of, remoulding what we wanted them to do, my new role, etc. And they didn't take too kindly to what we were doing. So instantly we had a gap that we needed to fill, to replace. On my first week, we had to sit down with the head coach around contract negotiations. So in those moments, I was a bit like, okay, it's not as, it's not everything you expect it to be. It's a very sexy, nice title, but there's obviously a lot more to it. But ever since then, it actually generally is very, very simple in terms of you commit to an idea, you make a decision, and you drive it forward, and then everyone, you give that energy in that direction, and then people follow. And as long as you make, like I said, you can make wrong decisions. Everything is subjective, especially in football.
Yeah.
So you just need to manage that accordingly and own it. And I think, I just settled into it from there.
And how do you manage that? Because football is so subjective. I mean, we talk about Bukayo Saka. People say, well, he's terrible, you lot are wrong, or he's the best player in the world. I'm sure it's so much deeper for you, because if you make a decision, you're a bit closer to the fans when maybe Arsenal CEO is.
Oh, yeah.
So do you get people saying, that's a terrible decision, why have you done that?
Yeah, again, sort of second or third week in, we had a fans forum where 50 to 100 people, I think it was, came down. And, had to stand up, introduce myself. Obviously, some of them had seen me around the ground with the other role and stuff. But, and they're firing questions at you, like, because we have a bit of a sticky situation with our ground. We don't actually own it at the minute.
Okay.
And there's a bit of a sort of ongoing conversation and battle around it with the powers that be. first question, when are we owning the ground? You know, bang, like straight
You
in.
can't prepare for those questions, can you?
And it's like, you know, you are very, very close to these people. Like I said, you walk from one side of the ground to the other to almost take refuge in our boardroom, just because, you know, and it comes from a good place. Obviously, they care deeply about their club, but yeah, you know, there's no kind of coming in the you know, round the side and hoping no one sees you. You are front and centre.
Yeah.
And they've all got great ideas, and we've tried this. If you know, of course we have.
Yeah.
You know, it's on the to-do list. You know, and what we're guilty of is we have this massive following on socials now. This great club, you know, building something really exciting. I think it's often perceived that we're a much bigger operation than we actually are.
There is that, isn't there?
Due to social media, you think?
People think we're absolutely rolling in it. Like, you know, it's,
how many followers do you have on social media?
Well, it's 1 million on TikTok.
Insane.
It's mad.
Yeah,
it's more than a lot of Premier League clubs, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I generally don't know the detail on it, but there's a few Premier League clubs that we have more than. A lot of Football League clubs would be seriously jealous of that following. Yeah. Even the interactions, we had 1 million impressions on Instagram alone last 30 days. Yeah. So it's, you know, it's incredible, and that's all due to the work from, you know, the previous sort of outfit ownership group, if you like. But because of that, you know, there is this misconception that we have loads of money, that all our players are on the top dollar, that we're all getting paid loads, that there's a team of 15 behind the scenes. It's really, really not like that.
Yeah.
Like I said, we rely on a lot of hard graft, but we are building something exciting, and if we can sort of stay the course at this level and continue to grow, I mean, from the business perspective, then it'll take us into a good place.
I just want to talk about the sort of relationship between like a CEO and the owners.
Yes.
So, I mean, a lot of people, when you look at the Premier League level, they're saying, right, why has he not signed that player? Why has he not signed this? Why, you know, Arsenal's a big one because we're Arsenal fans. Why have we not signed a striker 2 years ago? How much influence is that with the owners, and like compared to like the management and the team that's lower down?
Yeah, I think the answer to that, to give context, is it's a very unique situation. Yeah. We're step 3 club, so there isn't this massive ownership group that, you know, and the layers and the hierarchy in the food chain, I think, that the bigger clubs have. I mentioned already, so it's just worth noting, so we have 2 owners now, co-owners. There's a guy that's invested from America, a guy called Chris Corey, who is an absolute genius, made his money in ad agencies. He's part of the World Cup bid for Miami.
Nice.
So he's bringing, I think he was project lead, so I think they won. So there's a few games in Miami
Wicked.
That he's overseeing. Real great strategic brain. He set up Walton and Hersham academies out in the States. So we've got 3 schools out there that all play under our umbrella.
No way.
Yeah.
Wow,
that's class.
That is really cool.
We've got a couple of one girl and one boy over who are playing step 5, step 6 football through the academy.
Class.
That's come through. So we have regular meetings, but his is definitely on the business side. And then I've mentioned a guy called Calogero, who was one of the main instigator of the group. He stuck the test of time. The others were bought out by Chris. And he and I essentially dovetail really well. He's still only 25, 26.
Wow.
Should probably know that. Apologies. You'll get me for that. But he is a boy genius. And again, he won't mind me saying, I said this to everybody, he rocks up in like socks and sliders, genuinely, pink hoodie, you know, looks complete opposite to a football owner in a good way, but I say boy genius. I don't say that lightly. He is incredible at decision making, seeing things before anyone else sees it. And he, I guess, is more of a director of football kind of role, but as a co-owner does the dirty work. You know, we'll be doing registrations and, you know, we'll be doing, Costco runs, you know.
Stuff he doesn't have to necessarily do.
Yeah, but his sleeves up, like, gives it absolutely everything. And he is just a fascinating character and individual. And so that's, for context, essentially he and I run the club currently. I'm more on the day-to-day now, and his role is to look at the bigger picture stuff. So player signings, negotiations. I mentioned the ground, so talking with the ground about improvements or ownership and things. Looking at the sort of 5 to 6 year plan, whereas I do more of the day-to-day stuff, the revenue drive, commercial, community aspect. So, and it's great. It's a really just works really well, and I think that's one of the reasons why they offered me the role, because I was just assuming more responsibility. We kind of just click and we get on, and I have some experience in my side, and then he's been doing this for 6-7 years, so he's got his experience as well. So yeah, it's just a really, really good relationship. In terms of like contracts and negotiations and budgets and things, I just let him do that. Like it's his club. Yeah. Like he's the owner. He gets final say. He pulls rank. I get that, but obviously I have the ability to give opinions and to give my kind of judgment. And normally we're there or thereabouts together, which is quite nice. But yeah, he's fascinating. He's a great guy to work with.
Does the manager have also, like, is the manager similar to yourself in terms of where he'll give his opinions on signings as well, I'm guessing?
I think they lead a bit more.
Yeah.
I guess at that level you've got a lot of non-contract players.
Yeah.
So you'll see it now in sort of these months where if they've not kind of fitted into a squad or not getting the game time that maybe they thought, they'll just float around and go and sign for another club. We have the bulk of our first team squad are on 1-year contracts though, so we kind of have that security with them.
It's quite common in non-league, is that?
Not contracts, no.
Oh, really?
Not in step 3 maybe, I'm not sure, but I know like lower down it's definitely not.
Right, okay.
Yeah, then typically normally on what we call a non-contract.
Right.
So they'll get paid if they play, but they're free to go if they desire to.
Got you.
But a contract, obviously, similar to what you would have experienced, just obviously at a lower level. We moved. Well, they did it before I joined, but the club moved to sign the core squad on at least 1 or 2 years.
That's great.
Which was, again, talk about disrupting and forward thinking and doing things differently. This was the attractive proposition of working for a club like this, because Calogero was driving that, saw that we needed to lock in some players to grow. But yeah, the coach typically will lead on the recruitment side.
Yeah.
Calog will do the sort of negotiating, and then it'll be down to me just to not rubber stamp it, but just they'll give an opinion or two if we need to when it comes to budget.
Yeah.
Ultimately, that's my role, is to make sure this club is financially sound.
So I mean, first of all, on the contracts, it's such a good incentive for a player when at that level, when because if you're injured, let's say for a month or 2 months, then you're still on that contract. So it would make you want to play for a club more, wouldn't it?
Yep, definitely.
Just in terms of you mentioned budget, does it vary a lot in step 3? Like, could you get a club on 5x another club's budget?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Our budget, and we're not afraid to say it, is mid to lower tier of the league.
Really?
We don't spend nowhere near what some of the clubs in our league are spending. And there's a bit of hearsay in that, of course, no one actually knows, but we have on good authority with some relationships with sort of players or ex-people that are close to the club, that we kind of had an idea on who gets paid what. And we are massively punching above our weight in terms of performance. But again, that comes down to clever recruitment. We've got a very young squad, very young, talented squad, who have had been dropped out of pro clubs or have just done really well at this, have come in and been really well at this level, at this age. Like our left back's 18, was doing his A-levels last year, and he's got scouts from Football League clubs coming around and sniffing around. It's just really good, solid recruitment, well coached. Obviously, I'm biased, I'm going to say that, but again, people sniffing around our coaching team, because they catch the eye, they're good at what they do. So I think that's how we finished 3rd last year, and we're currently in a similar position. So that's how I think we will grow in that sense. But yeah, budget wise, again, between Billy, our head coach, and Calog, they are just superb at managing that accordingly. But if I'm honest, we probably could do with spending a bit less and make me sleep a little bit easier. And because it's so variable, right? Income is so, you just don't know. Like if we get 750 through the gate, we've got a rough idea of what we'll make. If it's cold Tuesday and it's raining, you might get less than that.
That's so funny, isn't it?
What is that the main source of income, the gate?
Yeah, so bit of a contentious point there. So I said earlier that we are tenants within the ground. The deal and the contract that was signed a few years ago was one based on a club of this level, not where we are now, right? So the deal, believe it or not, didn't include any revenue from our bar or hospitality.
Really?
Okay. So anyone buys a pint or anything like that, we don't make a penny on that at all. And I think it must be the only club in the country, dare I say, in the world, that doesn't make a penny on their bar revenue.
How long does that last until?
A long time.
Oh, really? Okay.
Hence why we're in negotiations at the minute. I can't say too much.
Of course.
But we're trying to, but there is a will there from like the local council to support what is essentially a community operation.
It's only in their benefit as well, isn't it?
Right. So there's been some good noises on that. But yeah, the deal that was signed a few years ago was based on a club that was getting 40-odd, 50-odd people. Yeah. Not, we had over 2,000 people down at the playoff semi-final last year.
Wow. Class.
Who was that against?
We played Gloucester. We lost on pens. Yeah,
it
was going.
Nice.
But it's again like that, and it's very out in the open. We didn't make a penny on that game. 2,000 people.
It's insane, isn't it?
Right, and we didn't make a penny. I think we even lost money.
Mad.
And that's because we don't have the bar. So yeah, in answer to your question, currently our main source of income is sponsorship, obviously, advertising. At the start of the season, it was season tickets and merch sales, and now it's tickets. So it's there's a real drive, but also trying to be clever and cute about other activations and what ways that we can bring money in. And that, again, that's where I try and bring in some expertise from the last decade of my career to try and think outside the box a little bit. But yeah, we don't get the bar, so we might need to move on from that chat before I start throwing things.
We will. I want to talk about non-league because as a football fan, I know about it, but I can't say, I'll be honest, I can't say I've watched a lot of it. Learned a lot more about it with you and Ken. Obviously, Ken played a lot of National League, who used to host with us.
He was at St Albans for a while, yeah.
Yeah. When you've grown up watching Bournemouth, so Championship / Premier League, of course.
And the rest.
And the rest.
They went on another roll as well, didn't they?
League 2, League 1. Yeah. I've been there when they were shaking buckets trying to save like 5p's and 10p's.
Insane.
To save the club.
That's insane, isn't it?
Minus 17 points. That's why I talk about Eddie Howe, like an absolute legend. We had minus 17 points.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah.
Wow.
So
You've done it all.
My age now,
yeah.
But League 2, my first game we lost to Tranmere 5-1 in League 2. I'll never forget it. It was foggy and everything.
Now you're Premier League.
Yeah,
not bad, eh?
Yeah,
but that's the thing I wanted to ask about, because you're obviously so heavily involved in non-league now. Would you prefer to watch a Prem game or a non-league game now?
I think they're very different products. I don't think you can compare the two, directly. Non-league, you can sit and stand where you want.
Yeah.
You can grab a pint and drink it whilst watching the game. You don't have to be in the stadium bit. It's got a name. I can't remember what it's called. Anyway, and there's a lot more freedom. There's a lot more community and family orientation at a non-league football club. You've mentioned it before. You are right there. You can hear everything, see anything. As a genuine football fan, you can watch the game play out. As a tactician, you can really follow a player, and I think that has its pros. But yeah, obviously the Premier League product is incredible, fast-paced. Some of the best of the best. The facilities are incredible. Your match day experience is typically very, very good. But then obviously the price point, you have to pay for that.
That's the thing. I think when you look at it like as a single day out, if I'm going out with the boys, I'm either spending £200 to go and watch Arsenal and get a burger and a couple of pints, get the train up, or I'm going around me, Hemel Hempstead, St Albans, Berkhamsted. Just a great day.
Yeah.
We've got them tonight, by the way, Berkhamsted.
Have you?
Away, yeah.
At Berkham?
Really? Yeah.
I'll see if I'm busy.
Yeah. There you go.
Come down,
Come down, why not?
Absolutely. Are you there?
Yeah, I'll be going. Yeah.
I'll pop down. But I know some lads, I'm from Hemel Hempstead, who will travel to Truro to watch the game, which is mental.
Yeah.
6 hours away. Do you know what
Yeah. I'd probably have more fun watching a non-league game.
100%.
Unless I'm watching a big, like my own team, Arsenal, in a big game.
Yeah.
But like you said, the experience and the atmosphere might be better at the Premier League clubs, but the actual enjoyment, I think, would be non-league.
Yeah, obviously the atmosphere, you can't replicate 30, 40, 50,000 fans singing, that what that energy and what that brings. But yeah, that's what I mean. You can't compare, I don't think, because what you win with non-league, you may lose on Premier League and vice versa. But yeah, me personally, I mean, there's still nothing better than following your team.
Yeah.
Your club that you've brought up, been brought up with, the emotion that brings.
Are you still Bournemouth? Yeah.
Yeah.
We really want to
know.
He's good mates with Anton Semenyo.
Oh, okay.
I'm desperate for Arsenal to buy him.
Yeah, class.
Desperate.
Yeah, he's been on a couple of times actually. He's good.
No, he's a top guy. He'll be another player that leaves us probably, but just depleted at the minute. Yeah. But yeah, no, non-league. Obviously, I have to say non-league now because I've not seen a Premier League game for a while, or a professional league game for a while. But yeah, there's just something about it, the closeness, I think.
Yeah.
And I think it's the relatability. Everyone thinks they can play a bit when you can see them there, and they're not, so as fast paced as a Premier League game as you do. You could get a bit more relatable to that. But yeah, it's just a great day out regardless. And a lot of people I think are choosing that now, which is really nice to see. Obviously, we have aspirations and hopes and ambitions to be a Football League club. Our remit is the next 5 years. That's what we're trying to achieve. Trying to professionalise everything we do on and off the field, so that we're in a position to kick on.
How realistic is that goal?
That's two? You need 2 promotions, would it? Or 3?
3, yeah.
To get in
so we'd be National League South, National League, then League 2.
Okay.
National League obviously would be incredible, top tier of non-league football, considering where it's come from, where the club's been. But the ultimate aim for all of us, we're all ambitious, is to be a Football League club. It's hard. It'll be hard.
Of course.
It's not easy, but
not impossible.
Yeah, and we've proven with the back-to-back that once you get on a bit of a roll, and you make the right recruitment, and you make the right decisions, then it can snowball quite quickly. A lot of things would need to fall into place for that to happen. Obviously, we're realistic in that sense, but yeah, why not?
When you see teams like Wrexham, I can't remember what level they started at.
They were National League.
Yeah. National League. Is that a story of inspiration to you, or is it just they've been fortunate enough to get 2 very rich people involved?
Yeah, I mean, it's a bit of both,
people,
really.
I think it's helped as well.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, it's a bit of both, I think. The story is often wrong in the sense that what they've done brilliantly is leveraged their fame as opposed to really spend. Yes, they've spent money, but a lot of that has come from brand deals. Yeah. Like they're in the National League and they had Expedia on the front. Do you know what I mean? It's like a global entity. That wouldn't happen. It's happened because Ryan Reynolds and the other guy, was there. So Rob, but it is inspiring because it shows it can be done. To what level financially, I don't know how much we'd commit or other There's loads of clubs that step through at the moment. We're all trying to do the same thing. The level is outstanding. The quality on the pitch is fantastic. There's a lot of us all vying for step 2 and above, because I think step 2 is when it gets really serious.
Yeah.
Really serious. National League South or North. That's serious stuff in my eyes. And then you're only 1 or 2 away from a football league. So it's very competitive, which will make it difficult. Finances play a huge part, and like I said, we don't, as a rule, we're not going to break that budget as long as we still don't have that bar income, especially. But yeah, it's doable. It's definitely doable, and I think a lot of that is off the field as well. A lot of that is giving the players an environment and the coaching staff where they think, do you know what? I'll come on this journey with you guys as well. I'll come on that ride, and that's what we're trying to implement. Said at the very top, trying to just increase things every few %. Whether that's even like the coach travel that we offer, or the physiotherapy, the rehab kind of offering. We're bringing in a sports psychologist from a mental health perspective.
Amazing.
So there's loads of little tweaks that we're making that we're hoping that some of these boys who probably could play a higher level will go, no, do you know what, we're going. And that was the chat I had with the head coach. No, just let's go and achieve this all together. Yeah. Right. what an amazing story to be part of. Another chapter in this already incredible story.
I think the story is it, isn't it? I think there's a couple of teams that spring to mind when I think of leveraging social media. Dorking being one. I think a lot of their success is down to Mark, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because his personality.
He's great.
Yours, however, comes from the story, right, of the lads, the young lads who bought it. But that's just the story, right? I saw that years ago. Oh, cool. Send it to the boys. That's fun. That's it.
Yeah.
That could die there. How's it gone from that to 1 million followers? Because 1 million followers is mental for a non-league football club.
I think good timing. We're not scared to say it was during the COVID years. So you got a lot of people at home.
Yeah.
A lot of people needing a fix, needing access. I mentioned already the relatability. If you were 19 or 20 at that time, hang on, not even that. If you were in your 20s or even 30s, you've probably got a group of mates. You've probably sat around a pub and you've probably wanted to buy a football club.
Yeah.
Right, and they've gone and done it. So the relatability, I think a lot of people are like, yeah, I'll follow that, and have stuck with us.
Yeah.
There's been a lot of highs, and that mentality, success breeds success. So 3 promotions and great signings and cup wins. We won the Surrey County Cup last year for the first time in 48 years. So that makes you want to stick around.
Yeah.
And obviously the content is good enough. The content is
great content.
And that again is a testament to the guys that have done it, and we've just took that baton on and continued it.
Sorry to interrupt. With the content and the social media, have you ever thought and looked at a hashtag or I know it's a bit lower, or an SE Dons, and thought, should we tap into like sort of I'm not sure if that would even work, like how high you can go with that, but tap into let's do a YouTube on the full match day experience, mic'd up people.
Yep.
Is that something that's on the radar?
Absolutely, yeah.
I volunteer.
Yeah, why not? We're trying to do more externally. So I mentioned we were recently on Location Football, was really cool. There's a few other podcasts and stuff. Again, it's continuing that message, so we're still active. Socials with anyone these days, right? You have to be front and centre of what people are watching and consuming. So we need to continue that, make sure the story does live on. But yeah, we actually had a meeting this morning about like an internal platform that we're going to launch soon.
Class.
Club Swans, it's going to be called, and membership to a bit like I can't remember what it's called now, but like some mic'd up series, some behind the scenes stuff that will all sit on our own channel. So yeah, it's in the works.
Yeah.
Again, just an idea that we can't sit still. We need to disrupt and utilise what we have. A lot of clubs don't have what we have, so we need to make the most of it. And a lot of that is global as well. I think I looked this morning, did an mail shot out about Saturday, and half the people that read it were based out in the States.
Really?
It's madness, isn't it? It's crazy. So yeah, it's just maximising that as much as we possibly can.
Yeah, because I think the longer the content gets, obviously TikTok's normally quite short and sharp. Yeah. The longer the content gets, I feel like you build more of a relationship, or you can, like you said when you were selling earlier, people buy into stuff more when it's longer and they get to know the personalities more and the club more. Yeah,
so we've got, like I said, we've got that coming on we've done like a mic'd up series with our physio, for example. Yeah. Again, not the normal route that you'd go down, but I just feel like some of these people are so undervalued within the club, and people will want to watch it and learn, what she does on a training session, for example. 100%. So yeah, that's all in the pipeline. It was almost like that was planned. It generally wasn't.
Yeah, looking forward to that.
Yes. Yeah, I think that's the thing as well, because like thinking about, I've never thought, I'd love to listen to what a physio says during a game. But I would. Yeah, exactly. When it comes to like short form content, TikTok, I watch people gardening. Yeah. I don't give a shit about gardening. Do you know what I mean? But
do you want to edit that bit out?
Yeah. When it comes to things like that, it's just so interesting. I think you've got such a big platform that leveraging that is exciting. Is it exciting to you, or is it daunting?
No, it's super exciting. I spent 12 years building content, producing shoots, both in photos, videos, trying to be different, fighting and jostling for people's time and space, getting these talent to work with us. This is no different. It's about, like, we did a kit campaign, and I just had this idea of shooting it in a local Greasy Spoon cafe.
It's class.
Yeah. Have you seen that?
Yeah.
And Soccer Bible picked it up, and shared it. Again, what Step 3 side has their kit campaign shot in that way, and B, picked up by one of the biggest sort of football media brands. So it's a challenge, yes, but I see that as an exciting one.
Yeah.
To continue to do things differently, from a content perspective. But yeah, Koloj, I can't explain to you, like, he just gets it. You mentioned earlier, Lewis, he just gets it. It's that age, that understanding. I'm from an era where I can remember a time where there wasn't social media, and then when it came in, and then where it's everything that we do. Yeah. All he knows is that second bit, and the last bit is just all he knows. We were travelling back from Dorchester. We drew 3-3. I don't know if you saw that as well. We scored 3 in the last.
That was unreal.
3 in injury time. So we were 3-0 down going into 90 minutes.
Mental.
92, 94, 96, something like that. I mean, I need to be corrected on that, but we all just sat around going, what on earth just happened? Like, bang, 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 3-0.
That's what hooks you though, isn't it?
Right, yeah. Incredible story. Even that went a bit viral without really trying. And he was sat in the car on the way back, and he's done this clip of the Joker and Batman, and he's put that Dorchester logo on it and our logo on it, and it's flown. Yeah. Like, it's got hundreds and thousands of views on TikTok. He just gets it. Yeah. So there's the balance between that short form and then trying to tell the story in a bit more detail with sort of longer form content. I want to interview and speak to people like the volunteers who do the turnstiles, or people's in the burger van, or one of our longest serving fans. I'd love to get their take on it, because I genuinely think there's an appetite for that kind of insight. And I think that's the key word, like I've mentioned, is being relatable. Yeah. So if we can stay humble and be relatable, that audience and that content is only going to get better and better and get bigger and bigger.
But I think that's what you've done so well. I think if you think of like local teams, non-league teams, no disrespect, you think of the old bloke who goes down on a Saturday and drinks 7 pints, gets a bit too drunk, and goes home.
He's there, don't worry.
Which is class, but also who is there is the 25-year-olds that have only ever watched Premier League.
And the younger.
And are now involved. And I think you guys do that so well with your content. Even the shoot you just spoke about in the Greasy Spoon. I've worked with Slice, who are the sponsors, so I got to see that a bit early.
Oh, yeah, cool.
When they said, we've got their kit shoots coming through, I expected in front of a white screen, standing there with hands on hips. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? And then you see Greasy Spoon, shirts tucked in, class.
Yeah, and they were players as well. That's our club captain, men's and women's side, and a couple of the other boys from the first team, so it was alien to them as well. So I had to do a lot of convincing to the club, to say, look, I need some spend, I need some budget to make it happen. Yeah. Which is, we don't have a marketing budget, so somehow we found that down the back of the sofa. And secondly, it was, this is different. But again, like I said, that's all they've ever known, is to be disruptive and to do things differently. Yeah. So it actually wasn't that hard to sell, but it was convincing the fans to get it as well. Like, they were probably expecting the white green screen, or the white shoot. So that went down really well, actually, and we've got other plans to obviously continue that and to do a third kit launch and things, which obviously Slicer are involved in. But that's exciting. That's the exciting bit on how we continue to grow and continue to progress. I often say, there is a perception of non-league. You just touched on it. We're not the dog and duck FC. This isn't a load of overweight people running around kicking a ball. Like, those days exist, but they're a step further down the pyramid. Step 3 is serious stuff. Step 2 is even more serious. Lots of people earning a very good living playing football at this level, very talented, very good footballers who just maybe didn't get a break, or have just fallen out of love with it, or injuries, so it's what am I trying to say? Just essentially, like, it's a really great sort of level where we can be a bit experimental as well.
There's real ambition there.
And ambition at the same time, and that's across the board. So with the content, with the socials, and obviously everything else that I've mentioned as well.
I think that's the thing with non-league that I think I want people to take away from this, is that it's so much better than you think it is. And I think I was guilty of this. Sunday league player, but a good Sunday league player. So I've always thought I could do it. I could do a job, and then did a video with Ken.
Yeah.
I died.
Couldn't get near him.
I died.
The thing is, there's
ridiculous.
There's so many good players. There is so many good players that they just can't all fit in the top leagues.
No.
Yeah.
And you go down and from step 2 and below, where you might think it drops off. They're all ex-academy players or who are all once going to be the next big thing. So the level is higher there now.
Yeah, massively.
Even down to like step 4, step 5, there was one of my local teams, Phoenix.
Oh, okay, yeah.
They used to have a left back who was part of the Invincible squad. Actually, yeah.
Mental.
Yeah, and he was playing step 4. He was obviously a bit older, but it's like that's still an unreal experienced player playing at that level. So it is not what people always think.
Oh yeah, our captain Joey Jones played in the Football League for Salford.
Quality.
You know, and he's still only, I think he's 28, 29. It's just absolutely different class. The Rolls Royce of a player at that level. And you just watch him. That's what I mean about being so close to them. And as a football fan, you take away the badge, the club, whatever. Just watch these guys play. It's a joy. And that's step 3.
Yeah.
So the level is really scary. And I'm very lucky we get to watch them train as well, obviously. We can go down and watch them and the nuances of the warm-ups and training and stuff. And the level, is different. It's different class. So, anyone that thinks they want to give it a go, like, fair play, because you've got to be seriously a good player to be at that level. Yeah,
I think it's nice that I can, when I'm sat with a pub with the boys and they go, I could do non-league. I've done it against a few of them now. And also, like, creators.
And you couldn't.
No, I couldn't. I've spoken about people on here before, content creators like Urgis, plays in Baller League. Easily, by a mile, best player I've played with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It isn't playing at, like, a high level. And, I think in my head, he could walk into, like, League 2. Mm-hmm. Can't.
Yeah.
I think that's so, like, what people should know. You know, when we say I could score 3 for Man City.
Yeah.
you couldn't score 3. Yeah, exactly. You couldn't score 3 for your local team.
No, I was very lucky. We had an end of staff game when I was at Bournemouth. End of season staff game at Bournemouth. Just like we had 4 teams, 5, 6 aside. And it was like a pinch yourself moment as a little lad watching these players run around. Bournemouth is a very sort of club where it gives jobs to ex-pros, and they balance them with they call them non-players and ex-pros. Mm-hmm. So you normally have a coach for each. Yeah. And I was in a team with like Brett Pittman, scored hundreds of goals in the Football League. Yeah. Playing against Andrew Sermon.
Yeah.
Who's in one of the other teams. Norwich, play for Norwich, play for Bournemouth in the Premier League. And they're like on gear 1, gear 2. And it's 5 aside, and they're just so good. Yeah, and they're retired many moons ago. Well, I mean, Brett still plays non-league, and there was a few others like that. And even some of the kickabouts and the UEFA courses. You're with
they're great.
Right, and
really.
You're with players that are playing. One of the lads played at Truro. One was Exeter, because I was in again, very fortunate. I was in a pro game course.
Was it through the PFA?
No, it was still the FA, but it was what they call a pro game course. So it was like they're fast tracking coaches and players through. And Harry Kite was there. Yeah, he played at Exeter all his life, and they're absolutely different class, and you can't get near them. And again, everyone thinks they've got a bit, and you're just like,
haven't got a bit.
I'll stay in the boardroom, thanks. I'll make decisions. But when you see them up close. Yeah. I mean, that's when you realise how good these people are.
Yeah. I want to do some like medium fire questions, not quick fire.
Yeah, sure.
A few interesting ones, and a big one to finish on. This has been so interesting. We could talk to you for hours, and we'll have to get you back on and get Calogero on as well if he's up for it. I think it'll be great.
Typically one of us gets put forward. So
there you go.
Yeah, he can come on next.
Anyone can come on. So medium fire questions.
Go for it.
If you could steal one player and one member of staff from any Premier League club, who would you steal and why?
I try to think about this. Player, I think, is tricky.
Because is it a sense of going just for the best player, or do you go for a player who's good but also does like the media side?
I think it depends what areas they might in the club need.
That's true.
Yeah, very true. This, I think, is controversial, I think, because he's not everyone's sort of first pick at the minute. But from a professionalism point of view, from what I've seen, from what I've read, from what I've heard, someone like a Jordan Henderson, in terms of, if he was to ever drop down the leagues, I think that's the kind of player or personality that again, I'm looking at it from running a club perspective, you'd want around the place. I just think he would raise the level in terms of commitment and work ethic and standards.
Yeah.
And that's huge in terms of my role, in terms of what we're trying to implement across the board.
Yeah.
So I know it's not everyone's cup of tea at the minute, but I genuinely completely understand why Tuchel's put him in.
Yeah.
Just to have around the place. I think that is worth its weight in gold. So I was toying with like an Adam Walton or something just because he's one of my favourite players.
He's so
unreal
on the half turn.
Yeah.
But I think, from building a brand and business perspective, someone like a Henderson as a leader, you need that as well. Yeah. In terms of staff, I
feel like Eddie Howe might get. No disrespect to Walton Hersham manager, but yeah.
Billy Rowley is next, genuinely a fantastic coach. Yeah. The scenario I'm putting in place is if he is left, obviously.
Yes, of course.
Sorry, Bill. But
will he watch this?
Most likely, yeah. We'll get him on.
Shout out, Bill. Yeah.
No, generally, again, just does things at this level, which is he'll get picked up in the next few years, and it will be an honour to say that I've worked with or alongside him. He's a super talented coach, lives and breathes football, genuinely. But yeah, obviously from a personal point of view, if there was no links or connotations, Eddie meant so much, still means so much to the club. Even like we played Newcastle on Sunday, and the Sky Sports coverage is fading out, and you can hear Bournemouth fans still singing the Eddie Howe song.
Yeah.
Class.
And he's not been our manager for years. Yeah. And his face is all dotted around the ground. But he came in as a 29 or 30-year-old youth team coach. We had minus 17 points, kept us up on the last day. We then go on a crazy run of getting promotion after promotion, and goes away for a bit, then comes back. So it's that sort of love affair kind of storyline. And then, to get into the Premier League, man, I know people joke about it, but we are little old Bournemouth. We have a capacity of about 9,500, 10,000 people down there. We should not be a Premier League club.
Yeah. And a good Premier League club as well.
Solid Premier League
Insane.
club.
That defence you had last year, I know you've obviously sold them on, but even that, how much money is brought in now?
We've replaced them as well, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, done really, like recruitment. Again, I've seen behind the scenes as well, the training ground that has been built down there, the staff, the culture, everything is top notch. So I'd have to get Eddie in at some point, and you never know where paths might cross. That might be something in the future. Hey,
100%. Jordan Henderson, Eddie Howe, great answers. What's the biggest myth about running a football club?
I've already touched on it. You don't make money. There's been some sound bites already in the last few weeks where we've openly said, if you want to get into football and make money, don't. But at the same time, it's extremely rewarding. So for anyone that says it's not, I think that's a big myth.
Yeah.
Just again, how much of an impact you have on people's lives. Again, I generally didn't realise to the extent of how much people, even at this level, live and breathe it. Like they'll go to work, and 12 o'clock on a Saturday rolls round, and they're down the pub with their mates, then they're going to the game at 3 o'clock, or with their kids that they don't really see much during the week. It's just such a big part of people's life.
Mm-hmm. It revolves around football, a lot of it, doesn't it?
Yeah,
massively.
So for anyone that says, the myth of it not meaning too much, or people don't really care, even at that level, that's a huge myth. But the biggest one is don't do it if you want to be rich, or if you want time to yourself. That's another one.
Yeah, that makes sense. We touched on this, but there's a key word in here. Is non-league more fun than Premier League?
Yeah, I'd say so.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Fun is obviously quite a big, a lot of links to the word fun. Fun in what aspect? Fun in what guise? But in general, I think you could definitely have a better day out, win or lose. I think the Premier League is, because it's so expensive, there's so much riding on it. I don't think you can go all the time. Not many people get to go week in, week out to the Premier League. I don't know, For me, it's a big build-up. You look forward to it. The drop-off is huge. Whereas fun, like I said, we could lose 5-0, which we don't, but we could lose 5-0, and I think you still have a great day out in non-league football, because it's about who you're with and the day, and you may experience it next week. So, so what if this isn't great? Absolutely more fun at a non-league, and the fact that you can move around the pitch.
Yes.
Grab bite to eat and a drink and move and see the game from every vantage point, you know, typically I think you're going to get more out of it and therefore more fun.
Absolutely, I'd back that.
Yeah,
we need to get ourselves to more non-league, I think.
I know. Yeah, well, actually, I'll speak about something off camera.
But,
yeah. Last one.
Yes.
If you could change one thing about football today, what would it be and why?
Yeah, I was thinking about this.
Tough question, that.
It's very tough.
I think just based on my own personal experiences of being in and around that academy environment as a coach, you know, the stats that are flying around for some of these lads and girls, obviously, that are just simply not going to make it. You know, I think it's 0.000 something %. We'd have to Google it. For every player that's signed at under 9s who makes it into the first team squad, it's almost non-existent. I don't have the answer. Yeah. But I would want it to be more accessible and for more people to get opportunity. I think that's why non-league is great and why the Football League is fantastic, because like you touched on, Lou, like you drop down the tiers, you'll still get a chance. But yeah, the amount of players at 9, 10, 11, 12 that will get released is criminal.
Yeah.
So I don't know how you do it. Bigger squads.
I was going to say more leagues, but there's already there's still going to be the hierarchy, isn't there? Maybe televised lower leagues.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. I can't
believe it doesn't happen.
That's why I was mentioning the YouTube thing, because I'd watch that all the time.
100%.
Yeah.
With no 3 p.m. game, I don't know what the legalities are.
Blackout, yeah. I do respect the 3 p.m. blackout. I like that because it protects the traditional route. But at the same time, yeah, we need to move on a little bit with what we can and can't do. But yeah, something around, if I could change something, just make it more, you've got more of a shot of making it as an academy player. Obviously grassroots is fantastic and you can get picked up, so you know, maybe more scouting, better scouting, I don't know, but something in that academy route is just the amount of boys and girls that come through the system and drop off is just, I said criminal. It's and they all think they're going to make it. Their families think they're going to make it, and their hopes, dreams, aspirations get dashed.
And where do they go from there? You've said this, Chev, haven't you?
Yeah.
You were in amongst it.
I was going to say, you're probably part of it. But I've seen it at 9s where, you know, the parents are on them because they want to get signed, and it doesn't mean anything.
I mean, I see both sides of it as well as the player, and then when I coached for a couple of years, like it's just the parents are more invested than the kids at that age. And it's like the amount of pressure they put on the kids, and like you said, with the percentage chance of them actually making it, it's like, what do they do after when that's all they've been put on that for years? It's always going to be a hard drop off.
Yeah. So either them more chance of being signed, or you know, we need to take that pressure away, and so it goes back to, you know, enjoying, smiles on faces, having fun, and if you make it, you make it. And sadly, money is a big part of that. You know, the payoff for a family if their boy or girl makes it is huge. So that would be the only thing. But we don't really see that at non-league.
No, and we don't hear much about it as fans, do we?
No.
I want to end on one question.
Yes.
Where do Walton and Hersham go from here?
Short term, it's about being a profitable business. Yeah. First and foremost, that then will snowball us into being successful, hopefully, on the pitch. A good, strong cup run in the immediate future would be fantastic, both for finances, but also for, you know, continuing that storyline and the trajectory of the club. And then I've touched on it. Next few years, we want to go up at least once or twice more, professionalise everything we do, build out a real, well organised, well run operation, and then roll the dice. And then see what happens.
Love that.
That's ultimately what we're all doing in football. It's not a given. So work hard and see where we can get to. Like I said, we're all very, very ambitious people. Hopefully we can continue the story and give Netflix a call.
Absolutely.
Keep pushing on.
100%. What a story it's been, Joe. This has been unreal. I could talk to you for hours. I'm sure we'll get you back on at some point.
Part 2 or something.
Absolutely. Do you want to plug anything?
No, we're all good. Look, I'm grateful that we're on. Walton and Hersham Football Club. If you're not following, go and read the archives, read the BBC Sports story. Like I said, I'm just a custodian of the club currently. The club will live on past me, and obviously I've come in to kick on what the club has been doing so well. So yeah, just people go check it out, come watch a game. That would be great. Only 30 minutes from Waterloo for anyone that's in London, and it's it's a great place to come down. So yeah, no, all good.
Definitely,
lovely.
We'll be there.
Appreciate you coming on, Joe.
No, pleasure.
Good to chat.
Cheers.